Josh with Scout Construction, proud sponsor of local teams and athletes. Check out your favorite local sports right here on the OH Report.
Instead of paying for some big-name spokesperson, Kasasa Checking gives that money back to you in cash rewards. In fact, you just bought me this cup of coffee. See how that works? Amazing! Free checking, cash rewards. Take back banking with Kasasa.
Our number one receiver coming from the Shelby Whippets, Isaiah Ramsey.
He's caught our attention over here, and we're certainly going to keep an eye on the Willard Flashes.
We will see you next week on the Stat Leaders, brought to you by Spitzer of Mansfield.
He's going to send a line drive down the field. It'll be fielded on the bounce. That is Schieffer. Schieffer finds a hole at the center. Schieffer turns on the burners. Schieffer could go. He's at the 50, 45. He's got one man to beat. Schieffer with the ball in his left hand. He's going to take it to the house. Whitford opens up the second half with the kick return touchdown.
Take a look at all the action from Friday Night Football right here in North Central Ohio with great analysis, highlights, coach interviews, and so much more every single Friday night right here on the OH Report.
Seneca East is finding themselves, after an early loss, they're starting to find the way they want to play offensively, which is primarily let their quarterback, Foose, take care of things. Blake is involved in 75% of their plays. He's either throwing it or running. So, and they're looking to see, are they a pretender or are they a contender? And tonight will really show that for both teams, just how good either one of these guys are. And then, next week we have Crawford again, but it'll be against Gary, so then we'll really get an indication of where Crawford is going to be, especially as this whole league plays out. But, the unbelievable thing to me tonight is we're on Game 5, so we're going to be halfway through the regular season after tonight.
Yeah, once again, Jared Moore, Tim Birie here on WBCO, along with the OH Report. So thanks for tuning in, and a couple of players here to look out for. We talked about Blake Foose, but going off of that Colonel Crawford defense is going to really have to come to play here tonight. He's a huge part of their offense, obviously. Foose is thrown for almost 800 yards. He's second in the league in passing. So for Blake Foose to come in with those passing stats, as you can see right there, almost 800 yards, 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Rushing the ball, though, he can also run the ball. 93 rushes for 502 yards, 125 yards per game. So, you're talking here, he can throw the ball at a 57% rate with 10 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. How does that Colonel Crawford defense come to play here against Blake Foose, who really they haven't seen a quarterback like this so far?
No, not at all.
Year.
And, first of all, I think in the passing game, Foose does a great job of spreading it around. I think he's got one receiver with double-figure catches, and then he's got a bunch of guys who have like somewhere between 5 and 8 catches, 5 and 9 maybe. But so he really spreads it around. But I think their biggest concern better be his ability to take off and run the ball. And what you may do is put a spy on him. So they do have some really good linebackers. Their 4 linebackers are the I think the key to their defense. Thu is obviously a great one who we've seen go from as a sophomore a special teams star to now he's just a star. And and you also have Vogt as one of their outside linebackers who's a very good athlete, so maybe he's going to be the guy assigned. But they very well may assign someone to him and then do everything they can to just keep receivers in front of him. Don't give up big plays. I think, a long time ago, 2014, the Buckeyes won the national championship. And I remember them getting ready for Oregon. And, Oregon, if you remember, took the ball right down the field and scored, but they ran like 12 plays. Mm-hmm. And I remember, Urban Meyer talking about the fact that, that really didn't bother him. That their, Fickle was a defensive coordinator, then Fickle said it didn't really bother him. Because I knew they couldn't consistently run 12 plays every time they had the ball and score, that they were going to have to hit big plays. So as long as they weren't hitting big plays, we didn't worry about it. And we all know how that game ended up. They ended up beating the heck out of them and doing just that. So I think that's kind of what Crawford wants to do, is not give up any big plays.
Yeah, and speaking of those big plays, they've really held them relatively low here lately. Obviously, Colonel Crawford's defense with Parker Ketterman, 25 tackles, 5 sacks, 12 tackles for a loss. Gabe Thu with 46 tackles, 6 for a loss. 1 interception and 2 forced fumbles. So we talk about that. Maybe they need to create some turnovers here.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt. What they want to do is 2 things. I think they create some turnovers, and which will be important. But make them punt. Crawford wants to make it. Their best offense might be Vogt returning kicks. At least he's by far their most explosive plays. The rest of they score a lot of points, but they do it with a variety of guys carrying the football, mainly running the football, and just methodically moving the ball down the field. It's not like a year ago when they had Mollenkopf, who would break off huge long runs, averaging almost 10 yards a carry, if I'm not mistaken. And they're not that kind of team this year. But what they want is someone to punt it, because Vogt is, I don't know what he's averaging now, but I know at one point he was averaging almost 50 yards on kickoffs and about 17 or 18 yards on punt returns, and it just keeps he just keeps continuing to break off big plays in the punt game, especially in punt returns. So if they can get them punting the ball a lot, he's probably going to return one sooner or later for a touchdown. Here comes a kickoff.
All right, and not a very good kick at all. Good by Will Bischoff for Seneca East, right at the 40-yard line. He doesn't get much yardage on the return, but takes it to the 43. And Seneca East can have great field position after an upset kick to start the game.
I don't understand if they're a little, maybe Crawford's a little worried about the return game of Seneca East as well, but it looked like that was done on purpose. So a great field position for Foose and the Seneca East offense.
Blake Foose coming out, and some of the Seneca East keys to victory. They have to control the return game, like you said. They have to get Colonel Crawford in 3rd and long, and then balance on offense. And we've seen Blake Foose, but who else can get involved?
Someone's going to have to do something. I can't imagine that Foose is going to be able to do this as he's done in the past all on his own.
They're going to run it on 1st down, and maybe back to the line of scrimmage is Blake Martin. And Martin, they're going to say no gain, as he has rushed the ball for 105 yards. He's the 2nd leading rusher on the team through their first 4 games, who beat Upper Sandusky a week ago. Coach Ed Phillips on the sideline. Seneca East in their home orange uniforms, the black helmets with those white numbers. Colonel Crawford, the away whites, your favorites.
Oh, yeah,
those
can't
yellow
see
numbers.
Can't see anything.
Here's the
Luckily, you got those binoculars, so we'll be able to maybe catch who's doing what.
2nd and 10 from the 44. They'll send Beamer in motion, and Foose is going to take it himself, and he'll find the bottom of the pile right across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Is Foose on the keeper. And he picks up 4 yards there, a little bit more manageable here on 3rd and 6.
Well, they sent Beamer in motion one way, and then he's doing this kind of new thing that I've just seen the last couple of years where they circle the motion man back around the quarterback and head in the other direction. He faked it and ran a quarterback draw, but not much there, 3 yards.
They'll take the handoff, looking for the swing pass, and they'll find Martin in the backfield, who turns it up and maybe gets a yard. Well short of the first down is Blake Martin. And Colonel Crawford's going to force a 4th down here, and we'll see what Coach Phillips
They're going
decides.
for it.
They have Martin behind Foose in the backfield.
But Foose
2
does
wide
punt.
receivers to the right, 1 to the left.
So if he backs up just a step or two, he is now. He's going to punt
He is
it.
their punter, and looks like he's going to punt it away, and he does. Trevor Vogt finally goes back. He'll field it. Almost a fadeaway catch. Tripped up for a second, up across the 30-yard line. Vogt working his way towards the 30, and he stopped there. And Seneca East does a nice job containing Vogt on that one.
Well, it was, a great way. It's when your quarterback is the punter, that can really help you. But Vogt still returned it for like 12 yards, and he caught it running backwards, catching it over his head like a pass. Planted his foot, got up the field, and as he usually does, gets at least double figures on the return.
So that Colonel Crawford offense will come out. Led by head coach Jake Bruner. You see the starting lineup is Lohr along with Dyer. Kleiner gets a lot of playing time, obviously. And they're going to run it off the left tackle this time. Quarterback run to Cam Lohr. And he picks up 7 yards.
Trips up Cameron Lohr.
Cam Lohr. So a nice pickup there on first down.
7 on the play, 2nd down and 3.
And it'll be 2nd and 3 now from their own 30.
Well, and I think that's one of the keys that I talked about. They need to get yardage on 1st and 2nd down to stay out of obvious passing situations, and Lohr did just that with Kleiner going one way and Lohr going the other way, and 7-yard gain of first down, 2nd and short.
Kleiner beside him, takes the handoff, working on the outside, trying to bounce it that way, and is dragged down. Is Kleiner at the 40. It'll be 3rd and short, 3rd and a yard. Here for Colonel Crawford.
Well, and this is exactly what Crawford wants, 3rd and short. And so the playbook is wide open. Obviously for them, you would think it primarily will be a run, and it very well may be Lohr keeping it himself.
They average 260 yards rushing a game and 380 yards of total offense. Kleiner next to Lohr in the backfield. Lohr's going to take it off the right side himself, find some space up over the 45, and spun down at the 47-yard line is Cam Lohr, and it's a first down for the Eagles.
So he's had 2 carries, 7 yards, both of them. Ran the exact same play, once to the right, once to the left, 7 yards on both of them.
This time it will be Kleiner working it right side. Kleiner skips over a defender, up over the midfield stripe into Seneca East territory to the 48.
Colin Airsman with the tackle. Brings down Kleiner after a pickup of 5.
2nd and 5. So nice pickup there on first down. Kleiner.
Yeah, this isn't a good sign for Seneca East right now. Crawford winning the battle up front and getting good yardage on first down again.
Again, Kleiner next to Lohr, takes the feed again. Now cuts it back towards the left side, across the 35, and finally dragged down from behind is Matt Kleiner. And maybe a touchdown-saving tackle there by Lane Dixon. But Colonel Crawford's going to hurry up and rush and get to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, this is a little something different, them going tempo. We haven't seen this in the previous game we had them.
It'll be Lohr faking the handoff, looking across the middle.
Got him open.
And he has a man open, caught, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Crawford.
Pass completed for a touchdown, and that goes to number 5,
Trevor Vogt into the end zone. Familiar territory for the junior. who beat his man on a slant route, and easy does it for Colonel Crawford on their first
Yeah,
drive.
great job of going tempo, and then he just stepped back and Vogt ran a go route and got by his guy, got inside of him. Good throw, good catch.
Vogt with his 6th receiving touchdown on the season. Braxton Morton to attempt the extra point. Brought to you by FC Bank, your friendly community bank. It is up, and it is good. And Colonel Crawford takes a 7-0 lead here on Seneca East. 7:42 left here in the first quarter. You are watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report, along with listening to the McDonald's W. Cyrus & Gallion Game of the Week on 107.5 WBCO.
He's going to send a line drive down the field. It'll be fielded on the bounce. That is Schieffer. Schieffer finds a hole at the center. Schieffer turns on the burners. Schieffer could go. He's at the 50, 45. He's got one man to beat. Schieffer with the ball in his left hand. He's going to take it to the house. Whitford opens up the second half with a kick return touchdown.
Number 1 receiver coming from the Shelby Whippets, Isaiah Ramsey.
He's caught our attention over here, and we're certainly going to keep an eye on the Willard Flashes.
We will see you next week on the Stat Leaders, brought to you by Spitzer of Mansfield.
Nothing. Colonel Crawford with the lead. 7:40 left here in the first quarter. Seneca East taking the kickoff up over the 30-yard line. And now they will start from their own 32.
Well, he decided to kick it a little deeper that time, and good coverage by their special teams. So Seneca East will be starting it this time inside the 35-yard line.
So Blake Foose back out there on offense, and they struggled in that first drive to get anything going, but back out here for drive number 2. And this offense that averages 400 yards on the season was held in check on that first drive, and once again held in check on this next possession. Martin the carry for Seneca East. Picks up a manageable 4, but close to the 35-yard line is Martin. See that Colonel Crawford defense led by Ketterman and Thu. Right in the middle, right in the heart of that defense for the Eagles. They'll send a player in motion, and it's a reverse. Coming around the right side is Martin. Martin up over the 35, but that defensive edge there for Colonel Crawford contains Martin. Trying to cut it back inside, but nowhere to go for Blake Martin.
Well, that's one of those infamous passes.
And Matt Kleiner. Third down.
But didn't really fool Crawford much. They stayed in their lane, stayed where they're supposed to be, didn't start chasing the ball and over pursue, and nice reverse call by Coach Phillips, but not much there.
3rd and 5 from their own 37. Fuchs is going to run it himself. The defense is there, but he slips through a couple tackles. Still fighting for yards, close to the 40. A lot of work there for just a 3-yard pickup for Blake Fuchs. We'll see what Seneca East decides to do. They punted it on their last drive on 4th down. Now they face a 4th and 2. They're going to hurry up and get to the line. Now Fuchs looks towards the sideline, and we'll see if they do indeed decide to back him up.
He's backing up, so he's going to punt it.
Well, that's a way to take Vogt out of the game, though, on special teams, is to pretend like you're going to go for it and make him play a little bit of defense, and they'll punt it away to the 25, and that's where it'll be marked down.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if one of these times, because if Vogt starts just backing up as soon as Foose backs up, then one of these times he may back up a couple steps and then run a play.
It's always a mind game, isn't it?
Well, when you got someone who's really good at something, you got to figure out a way to try to take that part of the game away. And so far, I think what Coach Phillips has done is really something that probably Crawford hasn't seen yet this year, since they have a quarterback who can also punt.
Again, this will be Kleinert, and he's upended across the 30-yard line.
Will Bischoff with the tackle.
Is Matt Kleinert.
Brings down Kleinert after
Gain of
pickup
6
of
there for Kleinert to
6 yards.
31. 2nd and 5.
Yeah, this is absolutely the key that I talked about with Crawford, that, you know, be able to move the ball on 1st and 2nd down to get in 3rd and shorts, and boy, they're doing that to a T tonight.
Kleinert to the left of Lohr. They have 2 split out wide to the right, and Derek Horsley wide to the left. Again, they'll run it, and this time is Lohr on the keeper. And Lohr a little snake and bake to get closer to the 1st down marker. He's about a yard shy to the 34.
3rd down and 1.
That's what you want, 3rd and 1. You know, not 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 when you're a team that doesn't want to throw the ball a whole heck of a lot. They would rather throw the ball to surprise you, just like they did when they went tempo and threw the ball deep, rather than just throw it 2 or 3 times every series.
Lohr in the gun, and the snap is bad. He goes back, and he's not falling on it yet. We'll see who recovers. I believe it was the Tigers.
Ball is on the field.
Yes, it was.
And the refs discuss. I still haven't seen an official call yet.
I think it's pretty easy.
I thought it was too. Lohr tried to fall on it, could not. The ball was still behind his back. I don't know if they're going to say he had a hand on it before anybody got there. And we'll see what the call is. Colonel Crawford acts like they're still on offense.
Well, it started with a bad snap, and the ball was to the left of Lohr, but they're calling a penalty or something. I don't know what they're doing.
It's 4th down regardless.
But they brought the ball back to the line of scrimmage. So I'm not really sure what they're calling it, unless it was like an inadvertent whistle or something.
Timeout on the field.
Well, let's sort this out. Colonel Crawford's going to take a timeout. We're going to go ahead and take one as well. 4:29 left here in the 1st quarter. Colonel Crawford 7, Seneca East nothing. We'll be right back.
I'm Travis Big League Berardi. Catch me every week with my Country Roads rankings. We'll go over the small school top 10 football schools here in the area.
Instead of paying for some big-name spokesperson, Casasa Checking gives that money back to you in cash rewards. In fact, you just bought me this cup of coffee. See how that works? Amazing! Free checking, cash rewards. Take back banking with Casasa.
This is out of sorts.
Yeah, I don't know
from what
it,
we saw. It looked
you
like
know,
it was
there
going
was
to be Seneca East football.
Yeah, there was a bad snap, and Cam Lord tried to recover it, whiffed on the recovery, and St. East ended up with the ball, and then there was a big conversation with the refs. First they moved it back, and it was 4th and 1. Then Crawford called timeout. Now it's 3rd and 1, so maybe they called timeout before the play.
The fans rise to their feet here for the Tigers, hoping for a stop. Working it left side, there's a flag on the play. It's going to be a 1st down for the moment for Micah Thomas on the carry.
It's a hold on Crawford. So I'm not saying it would be a makeup, but gee, Crawford just tried to run the ball wide. And, you know, they got called for someone hooking one of the defensive ends. I didn't see who it was on, whether it was a tight end or a tackle.
The pots and pans are out. Trying
now
to rally
it can't.
the troops.
Well, first of all, it can't be 4th down. Yeah, there we go. It's back to third.
It's third, yes.
They did back it up to third.
Third and 11.
And now third and
29
long.
after the holding call. The Lure in the gun. Vote towards the right. Horsley wide to the left. Lure back to pass. Looking that way. Now rolls towards the left. Looking for Horsley. Lobs it. And it is incomplete, it looks like. Incomplete.
Yeah.
Broken up by Bryler Beamer. There to break up that pass as Lure rolled towards the left. Kind of lofted it out there. And
it was what they call a stop route, where he was going to run down, but he probably cut it a little short. He probably should have ran 13 yards, come back to 11, because that's what they needed for a first down. He ran 12, came back to 10. Ball was a little late and a little high, and he ended up falling incomplete.
Kleinert gets the punt away, and it will be fair caught for by Austin Perry. Maybe a little bit of an acting job there by Kleinert on the punt as he fell backwards.
Yeah.
Wanted that roughing the punter call, but not going to get it.
Well, there's a perfect case, though. Someone asked me the other day, why is Vogt such a outstanding kick returner? And there's one of the reasons right there. That young man, Tristan Baker, decided to take a fair catch. And he had a lot of room.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a good, long, high punt. And I don't even think he looked at anybody other than he just fair caught it, where he had plenty of room to run. Vogt doesn't fair catch it very often.
Hoos back to pass, off of his back foot, lobs it towards the left corner on the sideline up towards the 40-yard line and lofts it out of bounds, incomplete. Nobody there as he rolled towards the left.
Yeah, he did a little half roll and tried to get he had two different guys running out cuts, one deep, one maybe medium, but he threw it between them both because they were both covered. He had nowhere to go with the ball.
Foose with Martin and Dixon in the backfield with him. He's going to run the option with Dixon, working it off the left side, finds a seam, and then is plowed down across the 45 to the 46. But a nice pickup there on second down to bring up 3rd and 3.
Yeah, and they're going tempo, so they're going quick here.
Again, he'll have Martin and Dixon. Foose takes it himself, looking for a hole, can't find it. That Colonel Crawford interior defensive line there to shove him back. And they get that play buried from the beginning.
Well, they tried to go tempo and catch Crawford not lined up, but Crawford got lined up very quickly. Now, again, let's see what they're going to do this time.
It is 4th and 3 from their own 46.
He's backing up.
Now Vogt backs
Vogt's
up as
getting
well.
back there to go catch it now.
Foose.
Let's see if they call it off.
In the gun, and he will. This is a low punt, but it takes a nice Seneca East bounce inside the 25 and rolls towards the sideline to the 23. So they keep it away from Vogt. May not have been a very good punt, but Vogt has no chance at a return.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I don't think he did it on purpose. He kicked it about 6 feet high. Luckily, his lineman stayed down because it didn't clear him by much, and then took a nice roll, so Vogt wasn't able to return it, and Crawford's got a long field to go on about the 22?
Yep, from their own 22. And a little bit of a kind of an odd play where they fumbled it, and then the ref said, no, we're going to replay 3rd down, and then they hold on the next play to make it 4th and 11.
Oh, maybe they made a donation before the game started to get a mulligan. Doesn't that happen in golf, you know, when you go to tournaments or those scramble things, you know, sometimes you can buy mulligans, right?
I don't think that's the case.
No?
They'll fake the handoff. Lure rolling towards the right. Most of his receivers are going deep. Flag flies. Lure towards the sideline, runs out of bounds across the line of scrimmage.
Gonna get another hold.
That coverage for Seneca East really did a nice job defensively.
Yeah, they were really fooled by Crawford coming out and then throwing on 1st down. Now they're going to go back another 10 probably, it looks like. And, again, get into that situation that I know Coach Bruner really wanted to avoid. And
I mean, you talk about long 3rd downs. They have a long 1st down.
now they have, you know,
first and
1st
22.
and about, yeah.
on their own 10 now. The ball is backed up. 2 minutes, 32 seconds left in the quarter. Colonel Crawford leading 7-0, but now a 1st and 22. They'll run it off tackle towards the right. And just with a head full of steam, Kleinard carries it. Or no, that's not Kleinard. That was Tanner Dyer on the pickup of 5 yards to the 15.
Well, let's see what Coach Bruner has up his sleeve, see how much confidence he has in his throwing game right now.
Dyer, they'll fake it to him, rolling out towards the right is Lore, taking it himself, and he's upended over the 20-yard line. He'll get back across the original line of scrimmage, close to the 22. So now it brings up 3rd down and long.
Kind of little, almost like a boot action that they ran there. They faked it one way and went the other way. And again, gain of 7, so, you know, he's in, it's 3rd and long, but it's at least it's 3rd and makeable.
3rd and 10 with 1:30 to play, first quarter. 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Moore, 2-step drop, looking across the middle. He finds his man. It's going to be short of the first down. It's Derek Horsley to the 27, but that's all he's going to get, still 5 yards shy of that first down. So a nice job defensively there by the Tigers.
Yeah, the guy that, the young man that made the tackle, it was big that he made that tackle because there was a lot of room
Bryler Beamer
for Horsley to run. If Beamer doesn't make that tackle, Horsley could still be running. Ran just a little crossing route, and Horsley had plenty of room to run coming off a little delay look, and but a good tackle by Beamer.
Kleiner gets it away, fielded on a line drive right at the 45 and up the right side. Austin Perry, he has good stats on the receiving side and gives Seneca East great field position now to the Colonel Crawford 42.
Yeah, it was a line drive kick, and he did a great job of coming up and fielding that thing on the fly and able to get about a 10 or 12 yard return.
Yep, Perry.
Great field position for Seneca East.
Yeah, we talk about that special teams play by him, and he has 237 receiving yards, averaging 59 a game, has 3 touchdowns on the receiving end. So for Perry, you look for somebody like him to get involved here offensively after a big play on special teams.
Yeah, so far Crawford's been very good covering the pass, and I don't know.
Crawford's
another timeout for Crawford. Already their second timeout.
Their second timeout with 36 seconds to play here in the first quarter. We'll take one as well. 7-0 Colonel Crawford leading. We'll be right back on WBCO and the OH Report.
I'm Travis Big League Berardi. Catch me weekly with my Country Roads High School football rankings.
Hi, I'm Josh with Scout Construction, proud sponsor of local teams and athletes. Check out your favorite local sports right here on the OH Report.
Instead of paying for some big-name spokesperson, Kasasa Checking gives that money back to you in cash rewards. In fact, you just bought me this cup of coffee. See how that works? Amazing! Free checking, cash rewards. Take back banking with Kasasa.
He's going to send a line drive down the field. It'll be fielded on the bounce. That is Schieffer. Schieffer finds a...
From Seneca East, and Blake Foose swings it out wide on the first play here out of the timeout. I believe there's a flag on the field, though, as they pick up 5 yards, but it's coming back. And that's a killer because they're on Colonel Crawford's side here.
Well, yeah, and it was a good play on first down. Had a nice positive gain, about a 5 or 6 yard gain. He just faked the ball to the running back, quickly stood up and hit a quick hitch. I'm not even sure the receiver went downfield at all, and there was a hold down on one of the other wide receivers.
Foose sends Martin towards the right side of him here on first down, and now 15. Back to pass, looking deep down the middle of the field, has a receiver, and he drops it. He leaps up in the air and simply drops it. He had the defender on his back in Ryan McMichael. He had him beat by a half a step, and looking at the replay here, I mean, McMichael may have broken it up at the last second, but easily a catchable ball.
Yeah, good throw. Just ran the go route, faked it and ran the go route, and he got inside the defensive back, and you know, he, very fortunate there that that Beamer dropped it, because there's a lot of Beamers involved in this one. So, but he dropped the ball, and it was close coverage. I thought what the Crawford DB did, defensive back did a good job of, was making a hit on the ball. You know, so Ryan McMichael did a really good job of, you know, I think hitting the ball before he could get it secured.
Foose again in the shotgun with Martin to his right. They'll fake it to him, run it up the middle, does Foose. Now bounces it outside. Foose with a seam. Across the 35-yard line is Foose before he's finally brought down, and that will take us to the end of the first quarter, and Seneca East into Colonel Crawford territory. They'll face a 3rd and 2 when we come back. It's 7-0. Colonel Crawford. You're listening to the Lewis Family McDonald's Bucyrus and Gallion Game of the Week on 107.5 WBCO, along with watching on the OH Report.
I'm Josh with Scout Construction, proud sponsor of local teams and athletes. Check out your favorite local sports right here on the OH Report.
Ooh.
And Foose took a big hit there on 3rd down. And brings up a 4th and now 6 from the 38. They had it to 3rd and manageable, but Foose was shoved back.
Well, that was Gabe Thu once again came through. He came through unblocked, and yeah, he's one guy you better block every play.
So 4th down and 6. We'll see what Foose decides to do now, along with Coach Phillips. They're going to go for it. Rolling towards the right. Foose backing up now, lobbing it off his back foot and out of bounds. Incomplete. And a turnover on downs for the Tigers, and Colonel Crawford takes over. And Seneca East, I mean, they've had opportunities, especially on 3rd down, 3rd and short. We talk about getting Colonel Crawford in a 3rd and long situation, but Seneca East has had 3rd and short multiple times in this game, and they've been able to come up.
Yeah, a lot of it right now for Crawford has been they're bending but not breaking. Seneca East moving the ball a little bit, and then finally Crawford will stiffen up. And, you know, that was kind of on both teams, a few penalties, but same thing ends up, the same result ends up with Crawford getting the ball back on offense without giving up a score.
Kleiner to the right of Lohr, 2 wide receivers wide to the left. They'll run the reverse to Micah Thomas. Micah Thomas trying to cut it upfield, and he's dragged down from behind at the 39-yard line. Pickup of 2 there for Micah Thomas. Usually that play comes at a time, and it works really well for Colonel Crawford, but that time Thomas held in check.
Well, good job by Seneca East staying home and, you know, making a play on a reverse and only giving up 2 yards.
Lohr trying to find some space up over the 39 to the 40, up over the 40 to the 43. Lohr is tripped up to make it 3rd and 5. So now a 3rd and 5 for Colonel Crawford from their own 43 with 10:25 left here in the second quarter.
Oh, and I think this is just what Seneca East wants to do. Get them in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, where they might have to throw the ball.
They'll fake the handoff to Thomas. Lure looking left side, finds a receiver open down the sideline, caught inside the 40, down inside the 35, and finally ran out of bounds. Close to the 30-yard line, and where are they going to mark them out? Actually, they're going to mark them out all the way back around the 40-yard line.
Did you see him cut that?
The pass was complete to, it looked like Nathan McCartney.
Yeah, just ran a kind of a flag pattern and a beautiful throw by Lore, and first down, Colonel Crawford.
Lore looking to the air again, looking Boat's way. He dives, and it's incomplete. Great coverage there. Defensively by Corbin Beamer. And it's 2nd and 10 now from the Seneca East 41 here for Colonel Crawford.
That's a couple times now on three times on first down that Colonel Crawford has went deep, and I just think that's good. A good strategy of trying to loosen up the Seneca East defense, keep the defensive backs playing deep enough and not giving help on the run game.
Lore under center this time. They'll feed the running back. Kleinert up over the 35 and spun down to the 33. Actually, that was Tanner Dyer on the carry. Inside of 10 minutes now.
Tanner Dyer with the 3rd down and 2.
Now they bring Kleinert back into the game. Standing next to Lore. 3rd and 2 from the 34.
This is what Crawford wanted to be in, unlike the last 3rd down when it was 3rd and 6. This is what they want to be, 3rd and 2.
They'll fake the handoff to Kleinert, working right side. Lore trying to find the gap. He does. Inside the 20, inside the 15, and spun down at the 10. Touchdown saving tackle by Will Bischoff, but Cam Lore on 3rd and 2 gets Colonel Crawford into the red zone.
Well, Lore giving Seneca East a little bit of their own medicine, that they like, that Seneca East likes doing with Foose. They faked it one way, and he came the other way. Got those linebackers out of there. Got a great block up front, 25-yard gain.
They'll run the inside handoff inside the 5 to the 3. Bischoff another tackle in there, but Tanner Dyer the carry to get it inside the 5.
Yeah, ran a little quick trap play, great pull by the guard, and leading Dyer up in there, 6-yard gain, 2nd and 3 from the 3.
Again, it will be Kleinert and Dyer in the backfield behind Lore under center. They'll feed Dyer. Dyer put the knee down and is short of the end zone. Maybe a gain of a yard for Tanner Dyer. But Seneca East defensively, I mean, we talked about that bend but don't break, and right now they're doing that.
They're holding up pretty good right now against a good offensive line, but I just like the fact that Crawford can get under center when they get inside the 10-yard line.
Under center, they'll toss it. Dyer towards the left side, cuts it back in and into the end zone from 2 yards out. And Tanner Dyer extends the lead for the Eagles to 13-0.
Well, good job by the Eagles there on that drive. They, especially on a touchdown, Seneca East was kind of stacked up in there, so they ran a sweep, got a good lead block and a cut block by the one offensive guard, and he goes pretty much untouched into the end zone.
Braxton Morton in to attempt the PAT, brought to you by FC Bank, your friendly community bank. And the snap is back, hold is good, kick is good as well. 14-0, Crawford on top, 8:05 to play in the half. You're listening to the high school football game of the week here on WBCO, along with watching on the OH Report.
He's going to send a line drive down the field. It'll be fielded on the bounce. That is Schieffer. Schieffer finds a hole at the center. Schieffer turns on the burners. Schieffer could go. He's at the 50, 45. He's got one man to beat. Schieffer with the ball in his left hand. He's going to take it to the house. Whitford opens up the second half with the kick return touchdown.
Number 1 receiver coming from the Shelby Whippets, Isaiah Ramsey.
He's caught our attention.
Blake Martin and Austin Perry back deep to receive here for the Tigers. Braxton Morton to kick off. Their 2-yard touchdown run by Tanner Dyer extends the Crawford lead to 14-0. It'll be Perry taking, or Martin, across the 20. Down the left side, Martin. He tiptoes on the sideline and finally steps out of bounds. Across the 30-yard line does Blake Martin.
Yeah, nice return on a good deep kick. It looked like one of Crawford's contained guys went inside, and I don't know if they were supposed to be across, but their end guy here went inside and gave Martin plenty of room to run up the sideline.
So 7:58 left in the half, where only 7:58 left until you could get another steak sandwich.
I think I'm going to pass, but they are really good. What a great concession stand they got here.
So 14-0. Colonel Crawford will be Foose in the gun. Back to pass, and he swings it out wide, and it's tipped up in the air, almost picked off. Luckily for
two different guys,
Foose, that wasn't picked off by Crawford.
Yeah, they were trying to run a jailbreak screen or knife screen, whatever you want to call it, but it was well covered by Crawford. He had to throw it out there quite a ways.
Looked like Ethan Holt was the defensive back, just waiting for him to tip that ball right into his hands, and it almost did. Martin on 2nd and 10 from their own 33. In the gun, trips to the right, 2 wide to the left as they spread it out. They'll swing it out, and it's almost picked off again. Matt Kleinert stepped in front of the pass and almost had a pick six. He could have walked into the end zone.
Yeah, it would have been a pretty easy jaunt to the end zone if he's able to make that play. Did a great job breaking on the ball, and right now Foose is just 2 for 7 for 10 yards.
Usually pretty efficient at 57% on the season, but almost 800 yards of passing coming into the game. He's in the gun here on 3rd and 10. They'll fake the handoff, run the reverse.
Another reverse. Had some room this time.
And along the left side, up over the 35.
It's Martin again. No.
And Cam Lure on the tackle of Bryler Beamer. Got the carry that time. And Cam Lure stays in position and makes the tackle. 4th and 6 now for Seneca East. And Foose looking to punt. Vogt has a tough time getting back there. It goes over his head, and he'll let it bounce. It takes a nice bounce inside the 20, inside the 15 now, and down by the Tigers.
Strategy works again.
Yeah, you talk about that strategy of putting Foose back there late and making Vogt just run back, almost sprint back. And you take that special teams play away from Trevor Vogt.
Coaches watch this film, there might be a lot of quarterbacks punting this week, practicing their punting, see if they can figure this out.
Even if you punt at 30 yards, you're still in better position than you would.
Well, a lot of quarterbacks, are punters.
Yeah.
So, they got good arms and they can also kick.
So Kleinert next to Cam Lure. In the shotgun, and you're on 1st and 10. Kleinert takes the feed off the left side, and Kleinert pushes his way ahead for a pickup of about 5 yards for Kleinert on the far side of the field.
Well, I think on this drive, if they had their way, Crawford would like to score with about 30 seconds or so left on the clock, make a nice 7-minute drive here, and just punch it in right at the end of the half because they get the ball first to start the second half.
They lead it 14-0 with 6 minutes and 30 seconds left in the half. They're on a 2nd and 7. Lure in the gun. They'll feed it to Kleinert again, and Kleinert this time going nowhere. There to make the tackle for the Tigers. Looks like Ray Snook, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, they just tried to run their power off tackle play, and Seneca East just did an outstanding job of getting a little penetration with their 3 down guys, and linebackers filled it. 3rd and long.
3rd and long, like Tim mentioned. Lohr back to pass, throws it left side.
In bounds? No, he called him out of bounds.
Incomplete. So now 4th down, and the clock stopped at 5 minutes and 47 seconds.
Well, it's just kind of a series that Seneca East is looking for. Not only got a 3 and out, they get an incomplete pass on 3rd down, which gives them a little extra clock to see if they can get something going here. Crawford's still having some trouble with their special teams, getting guys in and out. They got guys running in and off the field.
Seneca East sends 2 back. It's Foose waving the fair catch and fumbles the football. It's loose. And here comes the convoy looking
Crawford
for the recovery. And it looks like Crawford fell on top of it, and it did. Foose had to glide back and try to catch that over his shoulder. Called for the fair catch. You can see him try to crawl on the ground. And back there to recover was Colonel Crawford. Nice play on the hustle.
Yeah,
by
that was
the Eagles.
They had 2 guys flying down there, did a great job. One was the center. One was the guy who snapped it.
Yeah, Jacob Matty was close. And Colonel Crawford back in business now, 1st and 10 from the 28. What a huge mistake.
Turn. Yeah, her huge turnaround.
Kleinert and Dyer inside feed on the handoff this time, inside.
Getting in their bread and butter, getting in that wing T look. Putting a couple tight ends in, getting a fullback and a halfback, and
he's 2nd and 2 after the pick, or 2nd and 8 after the pickup of 2.
Just running the ball off tackle like they like doing more than anything. They're back in the gun now.
And the gun with Kleinert to the left of Lohr. They'll fake the handoff. Lohr looking to run it left side. Lohr with a seam. Lohr with a burst inside and then bowls his way forward inside the 15.
Great patience by
Picks
Cam
up
Lohr
the
that
first
time.
down. Yes, great patience along that left side. Found the hole and then buried forward. Will Bischoff, the one to basically drag him out of bounds, but not before Cam Lohr picks up the first down at the 14-yard line. 4 minutes, 50 seconds on the clock, left in the half. Colonel Crawford looking to extend the lead once again. Coming off of the turnover, off the muffed punt. And Colonel Crawford now taking their time a little bit.
Yeah, they might as well. They don't want to give Seneca East a lot of time if they do score, if Colonel Crawford scores here. They just keep running that play where they send the back one way and then pull the other guys, and he keeps it.
They'll go with the back this time, and he slips. As that was Kleinert again, as he just slipped down trying to cut it back inside. A loss of 1 on the play for Matt Kleinert.
That time they pulled those guys, and he handed it to Kleinert going that way. He had one guy going one, pulling and going to the left. He had another lineman pulling and going to the right. But he beat the block, they beat the block, Seneca East did, and made the stop for a 1-yard loss.
It'll be Micah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Micah Thomas to the right of Lohr. Kleinert to the left. 2 wide receivers wide to the left. Lohr in the gun. Feeds it to Kleinert. Almost fumbled the snap. Kleinert cuts it back inside. Is pulled down inside the 10, but not before he's close to a first down. It looked like he was right around the 6-yard line. Was Kleinert. Brings up 3rd and 2.
Well, he has been running that play a little wider. That time he cut it up almost right behind the center. There's a nice seam there, and 9-yard gain, 3rd and short. Now they got 2 downs to get 2 yards.
Tanner Dyer moves into the backfield. Micah Thomas goes in motion towards right of the line. Kleinert in the backfield also behind Lohr, who's under center. 3rd and 1, they feed Dyer. Dyer gets the first down and more, and he's dropped inside the 5 to the 3 is Tanner Dyer. And in there on the tackle was Lane Dixon, but not before Tanner Dyer picks up the first down. Clock to 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and now here on 1st and goal, you can take all sorts of time.
And this is just a huge score. They probably like to take their time. Coach Bruner probably like to score on 3rd or 4th down. Just not. You don't want to give Seneca East. They're still very dangerous offensively, and they could probably hit a quick one, which they would rather not do. And like I said, especially with them getting the ball to start the second half.
Lohr under center again, almost runs into Dyer as he hands it off. Dyer taken down right at the line.
Yeah, that was
Braden Drosky in there to drop him for a loss on the play of 2.
Yeah, time it looked like Lohr when he reversed out. He just reversed out a little deep and a little collision on the mesh point there, and so they end up losing a yard.
Go with Thomas and Kleinert in the backfield. It'll be Thomas working it, pushed forward, but maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. Does Micah Thomas along that left side. Say the original line of scrimmage, picks up a couple of yards, but nevertheless, it's 3rd and goal.
Remember what I said?
They want to score.
They want to score late, but they want to make sure they score. So
3rd and goal with under 2 minutes to go now here in the half. Leading 14-0, Colonel Crawford. But a huge play defensively here for the Tigers. Lohr in the gun. They'll fake it to Kleinert.
Got a lot of room.
Side. Lohr cuts it back in and into the end zone. Cam Lohr once again extends the lead for Colonel Crawford. His first touchdown on the night on the ground to make it 20-0.
They just did a great job. They pounded it inside, pounded it inside. You can see the Seneca East here on the replay for the Ohio report. Everyone going inside, and Cam Lohr faked it and carried it outside, and just there wasn't a lot of orange shirts out there. Easy touchdown for the Eagles.
Now a 20-0 game. Colonel Crawford, Morton to attempt the extra point. And once again, he'll knock it through to make it 21-0. Colonel Crawford once again extending the lead here late in the first half. 1:42 to play in the second quarter. Colonel Crawford 21, Seneca East 0. We'll be right back.
I'm Storm Blunchley. Make sure you tune in Friday nights at 11:30 p.m. for the Friday Night Pigskin. Stats, analysis, coaches' interviews, all wrapped up into one amazing show. Make sure you tune in.
Tigers on the kick return. It's Blake Martin. Up over the 20 is where Seneca East is going to take over after the muff punt return by Foose. Maybe a chance to kind of redeem himself. Seneca East still with 3 timeouts and 1:37 to work with, as Crawford scored on 3rd and goal to make it 21-0. It was Cam Lohr on the outside run, and really, this is do or die time. I mean, this is a huge possession because Colonel Crawford gets the ball back to start the second half.
Well, the big thing is, too, is, a week ago we were talking about, I think it was Cardington, it didn't look like they had a 2-minute offense in. That's how Seneca East plays all the time. So their 2-minute offense is in. What you got to be careful of here is not turning the ball over, because they're probably going to throw it, and they don't want to have an interception here.
Yeah, they're going to spread it out with 5 wide receivers. Foose looking left side for Martin, and it'll be incomplete as they'll swing it out on the screen, on the wide receiver screen, but Martin right through his hands and incomplete. Austin Perry for Seneca East has been shut down in this game.
Yeah, they've only like threw one pass to him, haven't they?
Yeah.
And, even on that one, Foose just threw a little bit high. That's a tough catch to make when you're running away from the quarterback, like on that bubble screen. Tough catch to make when it's thrown high like that. You really got to throw it right at chest high.
Foose is going to take it himself, trying to work along that left side, and he is dropped back. Pickup of 2 yards, and Coach Bruner is going to take a timeout. We'll keep it right here with 1:25. Yeah, Colonel Crawford takes their final timeout to bring up 3rd down, so this is a situation for Seneca East. You throw the football and risk putting it back in the hands of Colonel Crawford's offense.
Well, they're a team that throws the ball, that likes to throw the ball. So they're probably going to throw it. They haven't been very successful at it tonight, but they're probably going to throw the ball. And the big problem with that is not only do you risk, possible interception, possible turnover, but also, Crawford's out of timeouts.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's an incomplete pass, the clock stops again. And now they're punting, and it'll be interesting to see. I don't think it matters how Seneca East, at least if I was doing this, I wouldn't really care. How Seneca East lines up. I'd send Foose back there. I would line up in a punt return defense, or maybe a regular defense with just Foose all the way back as a free safety, 30 yards deep, and say, all right, let's punt it, because we got this guy that can really return. I'm not sure. Certainly, when they're blocking and you just tell them, just block the guy in front of you. Don't worry about making a wall. Don't worry about anything. Just block the guy in front of you. See if Foose can find a seam and get it close to where they got a chance to score again.
3rd and 8 from their own 23 with 1:25. Foose is going to chuck it across the middle. It's almost picked off. Man. Right into the hands and incomplete.
Get out those things.
Micah Thomas.
It was Micah Thomas that you thought had the interception?
Either him or Kleiner.
But
it was Micah Thomas.
Yeah, he was on the run. He was going to catch it on the run with really not many people in front of him. So, yes, and there you go. Foose went back there automatically.
Oh, barely gets the punt away. Vogt back to receive.
So Vogt's back there. Here we go.
Works across the 45, across midfield to the Seneca East 45, and Colonel Crawford's going to have 1:12 to work with here. And I know you said to throw the football, but I'm surprised they didn't run there and try to run some more clock. But now Colonel Crawford with great field position and 1:12 to run their 2-minute offense. See if they can make this a 28-0 game, and they get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, if they score here, it's big problems for Seneca East, but it'll be interesting to see. They're going to get in a spread look, and with no timeout, you have to throw the ball. You're just going to have to throw it, and I know that's not the thing Coach Bruner likes to do the most with this group, but you're going to have to throw it.
From the 45, they'll do a throwback the other way. What a great play
call.
He's
got some room.
They got some blockers in front, and it's Trevor Vogt inside the 20-yard line.
Great call.
No, that was not Trevor Vogt. That was Caden Bruner, it looked like. Number 8, Caden Bruner. Getting out in front with a convoy of blockers. They'll go trips to the left. They'll hand it off. Kleinert inside. Gets across the line of scrimmage. They're going to have to hurry, and it looks like Coach Bruner wants to spike it here. 45 seconds here on 2nd and 9. Lohr under center, and he will just spike the football, and now he'll bring up 3rd down and 9 with 39 seconds. So you run the ball on 2nd down, and you only pick up a yard.
Well, you try to surprise them, maybe catch them napping a little bit. And, like you said, and they spiked it, so they did exactly what they wanted to do. And now they're 3rd and 9. They got to throw it again. Let's see if, he comes up with another one of those trick plays of some sort. Last time they ran a nice throwback screen, rolled right through it left. Maybe another screen here might do them well.
Lohr looking towards the left, towards the end
Wide
zone.
open.
It's caught. Touchdown. Colonel Crawford. And
Thomas?
it is Trevor Vogt.
Trevor Vogt.
21 yards out, and once again Crawford extends the lead. The second touchdown catch of the night for Trevor Vogt.
Well, they just ran him straight down the seam, stayed right on the hash mark, and Seneca East, they caught Seneca East in a cover 3 zone. So if you send 4 verticals down there, one of them is going to be in between somebody. And Lord delivered the ball very well. Touchdown, Colonel Crawford. And boy, this is really deflates Seneca East, I bet, going in the locker room.
Extra point brought to you by FC Bank, your friendly community bank. Braxton Morton knocks it in. 34 seconds to play here in the half. Colonel Crawford 28, Seneca East nothing. You're listening to high school football on WBCO along with watching on the OH Report.
What's up, America? Brian Skoronsky here, and if you want to see me and the gang chop it up with some unintelligent conversation, we've got the show for you. Check out the OH Report video podcast every Monday, exclusively right here on the OH Report.
Seneca East off the kickoff. It's Lane Dixon in the Colonel Crawford territory to the 45 of Colonel Crawford.
Yeah.
Now Seneca East with a chance with 28 seconds.
Very good return. So
they have all 3 timeouts still.
Yeah, all 3 timeouts left. Yeah, Colonel Crawford called that last one with Seneca East having the ball. So
nice job there by Lane Dixon. And we talk about Seneca East. They had a punt situation where they sent Foose back deep to return the punt. There's about 5 or 6 minutes to go left in the half. They're trailing 14-0. So a chance to melt the clock, put a touchdown on the board or some points with maybe minimal time left in the half. And instead it turns into 2 scores for Colonel Crawford after they get a 3-and-out on the very next drive by Seneca East as well after scoring that touchdown by Lauren and a touchdown by Trevor Vogt. And now 1st and 10. Foose back to pass, rolling towards the right. And Foose gets rid of it in the air and over the defender, incomplete, but a flag flies.
Well, call him for face guarding. He never
did not turn around.
He never turned around because he didn't really interfere, but he never turned around. So I'm assuming that's what the call is going to be. Well, you know,
it looked like Laura was out there on Bryler Beamer.
If Crawford wins this game to go to 5-0, I would say it's safe to say if you ask Coach Bruner how you got to 5-0, he's going to start his first comment is probably talking about the special teams. Mm-hmm. They just dominate special teams play.
1st and 10 now for the Tigers on the Crawford 30-yard line. Foose once again rolling towards the right. With Martin in front of the block, Foose takes off with his legs and still running and then dragged down behind the line of scrimmage. And a timeout comes from the Tigers. But there to bring him down was Xander Fauser on the tackle for Colonel Crawford, and a huge play there defensively. Now 13 seconds and a 2nd and 13 for the Tigers. Coming up on what might be one of the bigger plays, because like you said, there's going to be a running clock here if Colonel Crawford scores on their first drive. But tonight's high school football broadcast is brought to you live and free on the OH Report thanks to our generous sponsors. Sutton Bank, earn the cash reward of your choice for doing simple activities with Kasasa. First Federal Community Bank, banking locally just got a little easier. Smitty's Pizza Company, Attica Lumber, Scout Construction. With more than a decade of business that you can trust Scout Construction with your roofing and siding needs. Call Scout Construction for more information, 419-989-7240, and Baker's Pizza. So 13 seconds. Jared Moore, Tim Birie here on WBCO along with the OH Report. And Tim, what do you expect here on this 2nd and 13?
Oh, I'm wrong.
With 13 seconds.
That's 6. 21. 28. Oh, I'm sorry.
What do you expect?
Talking to Dan Clutter about some stats.
You got to pay. Oh, now they reset the clock to 19.
All right. Here we go. Back to the game.
What do you think's the call here on 2nd and
Well,
13
you
with
know,
19 seconds?
I think, again, he'll probably it'll be interesting to see which way, if he only likes running Foose to the sprinting out to the right, because they're now on the right hash mark, and so that's the short side of the field if he rolls right. But I would think he will put, Foose will get on the perimeter somewhere. And the only problem with, that I don't like about all sprint out stuff is you really can only throw the ball one way. So let's see. He's got trips to the field, though. So he might roll that way or at least drop back and maybe try to hit one of these guys down a seam. It looks like Crawford's playing man free. At least that's how they line up, where they're playing man-to-man on the outside guys with a free safety.
Taking all sorts of time here after the timeout with 19 seconds.
I don't know. The refs were over there talking to Coach Phillips, or Coach Bruner. So now we're ready to snap the ball finally. So it's an empty set. So 3 receivers this way and 2 receivers. Now he's going quads to this side.
And they'll send one in motion. Foose steps up in the pocket and is brought down at the line of scrimmage. And another timeout comes from Seneca East, but Parker Ketterman in there. Not Parker Ketterman, but Jacob Moss in there on the tackle.
So I think that seemed to almost look like it was a designed run. They ran motion, and so they ended up with 4 receivers going left. And Foose took a couple steps back and then immediately took off to run. So that may very well have been a called draw play. I mean, he is the leading rusher in the league.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
3rd and 12, you're going to go for it no matter what on 4th down.
Yeah.
Do not forget to call in after your game tonight to the Friday Night Phone Board with Davy Jones, 419-562-2222, or toll free at 1-888-843-0024. Davy will be looking for all the scores from around the area for tonight's games. It's on WQEL after the game tonight. 3rd and 12 with 14 seconds left here in the half. 28-0 Crawford leading. They'll send once again in motion. Foose swings it out that way. Caught by Bryler Beamer, and Beamer is smacked.
That's going to be a loss, I think. What pursuit by the Crawford defense.
Yeah, no gain with 6 seconds on the clock. So 4th and 14 now with 6 seconds. And a reminder that the Cleveland Guardians continue to be in the playoff hunt as they host Minnesota this weekend for a series against the Twins. Pre-game time for Game 1 of a doubleheader is 12:35 before Ohio State football on your home for Guardians baseball, Iconic Rock Q92.7. And then speaking of Ohio State, the number 3 Ohio State Buckeyes continue tomorrow with a home game against the Toledo Rockets. While head coach Ryan Day was pleased to get the win, he says that his squad needs to clean up the penalties as Ohio State was flagged for 9 last week against Arkansas State. And the Buckeyes are a 31-point favorite tomorrow against the Rockets. Paul Keels and Jim Lachey with the call tomorrow afternoon at 5:30 for the pregame with a 7 p.m. kick on WQEL. Trips to the right for the Tigers here, trailing by 4 touchdowns and 6 seconds to go. What could be the last play of the half. And Foose throws it out wide and incomplete with 1 second on the clock. Seneca East turns it over on downs, and I would imagine that Colonel Crawford's going to take a knee here to end the half. Up 28-0. But once again, that Colonel Crawford defense, a little bend, but not breaking, and another turnover on down for the Tigers. They had great field position to start the possession.
Yeah. And then they got the penalty, but and we'll talk about it a little more at halftime when we do the stats, but I'm quite sure that Seneca East has gained more yards on Crawford penalties than they have on offense, which is not a good combination. unless the other team's been penalized a lot, and Crawford hasn't been penalized that much.
And Crawford takes the knee to end the half. And what a half it was for the Colonel Crawford Eagles. They capitalize on the mistakes of Seneca East on special teams, and they take a 28-0 lead into the half. Ohio News Network halftime show coming up here on WBCO. The OH Report will have the halftime show. So stay tuned. We'll come back and recap that first half, give you some stats as well. Colonel Crawford 28, Seneca East 0 at the half. We'll be back.
I'm Travis Big League Berardi. Catch me weekly with my Country Roads High School football rankings.
Hi, I'm Josh with Scout Construction, proud sponsor of local teams and athletes. Check out your favorite local sports right here on the OH Report.
Instead of paying for some big-name spokesperson, Kasasa Checking gives that money back to you in cash rewards. In fact, it just bought me this cup of coffee. See how that works? Amazing! Free checking, cash rewards. Take back banking with Kasasa.
He's going to send a line drive down the field. It'll be fielded on the bounce. That is Schieffer. Schieffer finds a hole at the center. Schieffer turns on the burners. Schieffer could go. He's at the 50, 45. He's got one man to beat. Schieffer with the ball in his left hand. He's going to take it to the house. Whitford opens up the second half with the kick return touchdown.
What's up, America? Brian Skoronski here, and if you want to see me and the gang chop it up with some unintelligent conversation, we've got the show for you. Check out the OH Report video podcast every Monday, exclusively right here on the OH Report.
Our second song takes us back to Mr. Cooper's senior year in high school, 2004. The first song ever written and recorded by the Killers for their demo tape, and it became one of the biggest songs of the decade. We hope you'll love our version of Mr. Brightside.
But I couldn't get
This next song we practiced to perfection. There was no margarine for error. Nothing to go for aside from gold. I don't want to talk our band up too much, so to end our spread of songs, here's Butter. Let's hear it for your 2022 Colonel Crawford Eagle Marching Band.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we'll be performing our third show of the home season, Light Up the Night. The Seneca East High School Band is under the direction of Mr. Tyler Schultz, Senior Field Commander Liviana Kaiser, and Junior Field Commander Gretchen Wise. We now introduce the Seneca East Marching Band. Our first piece was designed in collaboration with our seniors, written by the American rock band Imagine Dragons. This song will put our seniors on top of the world.
it's a mess right now. I mean, it's all tore up. You'll be going like 50 miles an hour the whole way down to third. I would just take 4 all the way down to 30 and take 30 and just miss all that. That's how it is. Up to you, but it's all tore up right now. You're going through the front door, you're on 30 mile an hour max. You go southbound, you can turn around. Everything's southbound. They're in one direction.
Our next song debuted 32nd on the Billboard Hot 100 in 2013 and eventually peaked to the number 2 spot.
High school
in
here at halftime.
2014.
Colonel Crawford leading Seneca East 28-0. Jared Moore, Tim Birie here on WBCO along with the OH report. And Tim, that first half was a defensive battle there for a little while. Colonel Crawford punts with about 5 minutes, and that's really where the game turned. Blake Foose muffs the punt return. Colonel Crawford recovers with great field position inside the Seneca East 40-yard line and then continues to drive and score with about 3 minutes to go. Seneca East does nothing on their drive, and then that turns into more points for the Eagles, 28-0. It was Trevor Vogt, a 32-yard touchdown catch to start things off in the first quarter to make it 7-0. Colonel Crawford would score 3 times in the second quarter. Tanner Dyer, a 2-yard run. Cam Lore, a 3-yard run, and Trevor Vogt, a 21-yard touchdown catch. He now has 11 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah, he's having a heck of a year. He's just a great weapon, and you know, we talked about, and he's really the only real explosive player they have. I mean, their ground game's good, but their running backs and even Cam Lore are not going to. It's not like a year ago where Mullenkoff was just. You know, every time he touched the ball, it was like he might score. And that's not going to happen with these guys. They're going to grind it out. And they do a great job of grinding it out, getting 4 and 5 yards a carry. But, you know, Vogt is the guy. And he makes them, you know, he's rushed for a touchdown. He's caught, 5 touchdown passes. You know, well, now 7, because he got 2 tonight. And then and he's run 3 kicks back for a touchdown. So he's just a great weapon, and you know, we're looking at the game tonight, and we talked about the keys to the game before it started, and really, you know, for Colonel Crawford, it was create turnovers in the passing game. They haven't done that, but also, you know, Blake Foose is 3 for 10 for 5 yards. So they're not giving any yards up in the passing game, and Foose has been throwing the ball pretty well all year. You know, then, you know, throw the ball deep to keep Seneca East defense honest. They have thrown the ball deep twice for touchdowns, and throwing it so they are, you know, they can't stack the line of scrimmage, so they are having some success running the ball, and you know, and then, you know, continue their dominance in the special teams. But tonight it wasn't with, you know, it wasn't with Vogt running, because they've done a good job of, you know, punting away from him and doing some things to make it tough on it. But then they get this, you know, the fumble recovery that really turned the game. And so, you know, for Seneca East, it's just been, they have no offense. I mean, it's just been total dominance. They Seneca East has run the ball 13 times for 22 yards. And like I said, they got 5 yards passing. So they got 27 yards of offense. You know, Colonel Crawford's got 40 yards in penalties. So, and 2 of them have been on defense. So they've given Seneca East 20 yards in penalties of offense and only 27 yards from the line of scrimmage. So that's not a good combination if you're Seneca East.
What can they do here offensively, Tim? I mean, we've seen the swing pass, we've seen long passes, we've seen the quarterback designed run. There's really no other running game outside of Foose. Martin's carried the ball a couple times there, like you mentioned, 3 yards. So what can they do offensively, or what is Colonel Crawford doing defensively to really shore up that Seneca East offense?
Well, for Seneca, it's got to be execution now. You know, they got to be able to execute some things. I think Foose there's been some times where he's had some guys open, and he's missed them down the field a little bit, and he's missed some guys. They got to do a better job of pass blocking because he's running around and being chased most of the time when he is throwing the ball. And, and then they just got to block better. I mean, there's nothing else that they can do other than that. Foose is just, I can't remember a play tonight when he's run the ball that he's gotten past the line of scrimmage untouched. I mean, that's past the line of scrimmage. That's not getting 3 yards or 4 yards before he's been touched. It's just he hasn't broken the line of scrimmage without getting hit. And he's getting hit a lot. And then the other part of it is, they've only run 23 plays. So on top of everything else, Colonel Crawford's keeping the ball away from them. Because Colonel Crawford, on the other hand, is Cam Lohr's 5 for 9 throwing the ball, very efficient 5 for 9, 97 yards, 2 TDs. Crawford has run the ball 27 times for 151 yards. And
thank you for your enthusiastic support of all the musicians tonight. Go Tigers!
Kleiner's run the ball 9 times for 50 yards, and Lohr's run it, looks like 6 times for 60 yards. So they're both having a good night rushing the ball, especially in average yards per carry. So they get the kickoff to start the second half. And as you mentioned in the first half, if they go down and score, now we got a running clock. So now it's even harder for Seneca East to mount a comeback because the clock's running. And so that first score, until they get that first score, and Crawford maintains that 30-point lead. It's just you keep looking at it. As a coach, you keep looking at the clock, and all of a sudden, if you don't score right away, gosh, it seems like, oh man. So if they end up turning it over the first thing, even with a couple first downs, I mean, that's what they got to do. Then they got 2 first downs, and one of them's from a penalty, from a pass interference penalty. And that's what I was talking to Dan Clutter about. And I could have made a mistake on on the other first down. So they only have 1. He's only got him with 1. And that's on the pass interference call. So it's, they got to be able to move the ball somehow offensively to, you talk about, small steps, baby steps. They got to get first down. It's been, other than that pass interference, it's been a long time since they've had a first down.
Yeah, so I mean, what exactly, we thought that this would be a great game coming in. We thought we would really find out who each team was. And is this kind of that moment, they are who we thought they were?
Well, we'll find out in this first series. Is that, I think, because right now what we found out in the first half, at least in my eyes, Seneca East is not as good as I thought they were, and Crawford might be better. And so, so far that's what it's shown. And in this first series, probably each way, if Crawford goes down and scores, and Seneca East doesn't do anything on offense again, this thing could get really out of hand, and it'll prove that is exactly what the case is, that Seneca East not quite as good as we thought they were, and Crawford's just a lot better than we thought they were. I mean, this defense has been dominant. And really, the first time we watched them, what was
against East Knox.
Against East Knox. Clock ended up running, right?
Right, on the first play of the
fourth quarter?
Nope, the first play of the second half.
Okay. Yeah, he ran the kickoff back. Yeah, he ran the kickoff back.
Which he could very well do, because this is their first kickoff attempt.
Yeah,
so.
And so, and against East Knox, the only reason it took that long, to be honest, was that they had an early fumble. So, and, East Knox is a 500 team right now. I think they're 2-2 going into their game tonight. But it wasn't an impressive thing, but, it was also the second game of the season, and Crawford is or third game of the season, I guess it was. But, Crawford was they didn't have a lot of guys coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had some guys that played, but Cam Lohr didn't play quarterback. You know, so he's playing a new position. He played quarterback as a mop-up, but you know, he played defense, and I think he's a running back or slot receiver or something. But he played on offense. But you know, so they graduated some really good players, a lot of good players. So now these guys, with each game, they get more and more experience, more and more confidence. You know, and yeah, I think they're a much better team tonight than the one I saw against East Knox. And you know, if they just, you know, they keep going that way, you know, obviously they could be a very, very fine football team. Which again, we said that question may be answered next week.
Yeah, and we will have that game
and
here.
We have it again. And we have it again. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that could be huge. Possibly a conference championship.
Obviously,
game.
I think that's what it's going to be. I from whatever indication has been so far. I mean, Mohawk seems to have a pretty good team, and but yeah, it very well may be decide the N10 championship.
So with that, we'll take a quick timeout here on WBCO and the OH Report. It's 28-0 at halftime. When we come back, we'll have the second half here from Seneca East High School. Jared Moore, Tim Birie here on WBCO.
I'm Josh with Scout Construction, proud sponsor of local teams and athletes. Check out your favorite local sports right here on the OH Report.
Back here on WBCO along with the OH Report, Jared Moore and Tim Birie, where Colonel Crawford leads Seneca East 28-0, getting ready to start this second half here on WBCO in the OH Report. Trevor Vogt, 2 touchdowns, and he is now up to his total and his league leading total to 11 total touchdowns on the season. Just a junior too for Colonel Crawford, so obviously playing a big part in this season so far for Colonel Crawford. We mentioned that huge matchup next week, but before we get to that, we have second half action. So we'll see if Seneca East could put up a rally here. They're going to start out, though, kicking off to Trevor Vogt. And I would probably say that they're not going to kick it to Trevor Vogt.
I would say they're not going to kick it very close to him. I watched him warm up, and it seemed like he was really working on his squib kick, so it very well could be something short. But you watch him, he's kind of moving around trying to fool him where he's going to line up.
It is Foose, and they will squib it, and it will go out of bounds.
So he kicked it straight out of bounds.
They wanted no
it
part.
didn't even make it to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, they want no part of Trevor Vogt.
No. I think a lot of teams are going to start doing that. But, you know, now Crawford's got the ball because you can either take it where it goes out of bounds or at the 35. So they got the ball at the 42-yard line.
That's where Colonel Crawford will start possession as the clock with 12 minutes. Started the third quarter. Crawford leading 28-0. Now 1st and 10 on their own 42. And they're actually going to get it to the 46.
Ball responded at the 47 to start the second half. Colonel Crawford, first down and 10.
So in the gun is Lohr here to start this second half.
Snooping around trying to get the signal. He's having trouble seeing it.
Yes, Kleiner to his right. He'll roll towards the right. They're going to throw it here on first down. Throws it deep, and it's tipped up in the air and incomplete. Almost picked off. Corbin Beaver back there almost picked that one off. It was tipped in the air by Jacob Matty.
I mean, you overthrow that. That's a 6'4" guy you overthrew, I believe. And
Matty at 6'4", yeah.
So he had to throw it up in the air, but it almost went to the Seneca East guy and almost went to his own guy. So the double tip. But, you know, when you're up 28-0, you can work on some things too. And obviously Crawford likes working on their passing game.
And it will be Kleinert working his way across midfield to the 40-yard line of Seneca East. And another first down for the Colonel Crawford Eagles as Kleinert picks up a big gain there on second down.
Well, he just ran a little trap play, and Kleinert broke the line of scrimmage untouched for the first 4 or 5 yards, and then he ran over 2 guys to turn it into an 18-yard gain.
He'll take the feed again, right side with some space, cuts it back across the 30, inside the 25, inside the 20 now, pushing his way forward close to the 15 is Matt Kleinert for another first down. Back-to-back carries for Kleinert and back-to-back first downs as well. And Colonel Crawford now in business at the 17.
17-yard line, first and 10.
So 41 yards on his first 2 carries. Not a good sign for the Tiger defense here, that they're going to make any strides in slowing this offense down.
Kleinert to the left of Cam Lohr in the gun with the 2 wide receivers set. They're looking Trevor Vogt's way. They'll lob it in the flat this time, and it looks like it's dropped. Looked like it was intended for Derek Horsley out there in the flat. And
he threw it just a little bit behind him, but certainly a catchable ball.
Would have only given him about a 2-yard gain. So it brings up 2nd and 10 now. Just a minute, 10 seconds here into the second half. Colonel Crawford, if they can put one on the board here, in any form really, a field goal or a touchdown, and we will have a running clock until Seneca East could get that under 30.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. You know, in these next couple, they're probably going to hand the ball off to somebody, and let's see if they get any. No, they're going to throw it again.
Looking left. Lobs it again, left side, it's caught, turning around. It looks like Kleinert out of the backfield, inside the 10, dancing along the sideline, and finally tripped up out of bounds. Dixon to take him out, but not before he gets to the 8-yard line, and it'll be 3rd and short. 3rd down and 1 for Colonel Crawford. Kleinert to the left of Lohr. They'll give it to him. Kleinert cuts it back inside, up-ended inside the 5, and down close to the goal line was Kleinert. Bischoff there to save the touchdown, but not before. Kleinert picks up his 3rd first down on this drive.
We're getting close to the century mark carrying the ball tonight.
He'll be once again to the left of Lohr. They'll give it to him. Kleinert stuffed this time. Trying to find some space, but cannot.
Kleinert is tripped up by this and then brought down by the left side of the Tiger line.
So now 2nd and goal.
Tiger's showing a little fight on that one. Broke through that offensive line that time. The first hit was behind the line of scrimmage. Kleinert did a great job just getting it to where it was no gain.
They'll bring in Tanner Dyer this time in the backfield as well as Kleinert with Lohr. The official
might have something with the clock.
Not sure. The official's kind of standing on the sideline.
Looking up in the stands. Did they see lightning or something?
Don't say that.
What else could they be looking at? They're not even looking up here.
You don't mention those words.
I know. What is he looking at?
The referees are asking, please do not use megaphones. Again,
megaphones.
Megaphones. No megaphones. Yeah, I saw some megaphones. Someone was up here with one earlier.
Can they ban pots and pans, too?
Yes. Yeah. No megaphones. I'll tell you what. Remember when they used to complain about the NFL being the no fun league? You can't have a megaphone? Come on. Well, they got someone in the stands calling their signals. I'm sure they're listening for the megaphone signal.
I have a lot of upset moms if I say ban the pots and pans.
This could get ugly in front of us here.
They'll hand it off inside and into the end zone. Touchdown, Colonel Crawford. Kleiner gets into the end zone for his first touchdown of the night. And yes, Clutter calls it. The running clock into play here. 34-0, the score, Colonel Crawford. 5th touchdown. They've had a total of 3 rushing touchdowns and 2 passing touchdowns. Braxton Morton in to attempt the extra point, brought to you by FC Bank, your friendly community bank. And Braxton Morton, this time, knocks it in again. 35-0, Colonel Crawford. 9:37 to play, 3rd quarter. They're on top of Seneca East. You are listening to high school football here on WBCO along with the OH Report.
He's going to send a line drive down the field. It'll be fielded on the bounce. That is Schieffer. Schieffer finds a hole at the center. Schieffer turns on the burners. Schieffer could go. He's at the 50, 45. He's got one man to beat. Schieffer with the ball in his left hand. He's going to take it to the house. Whitford opens up the second half with the kick return touchdown.
Number 1 receiver coming from the Shelby Whippets, Isaiah Ramsey.
He's caught our attention over here, and we're certainly going to keep an eye on the Willard Flashes.
We will see you next week on the Stat Leaders Brock.
And the OH Report, 35-0. Colonel Crawford now leading, and we will have that running clock as it starts after the 3-yard touchdown run by Matt Kleinert. And the kickoff rolls inside the 10. It will not go out of bounds.
You got to pick it up.
Pick it up, and it's going to be Colonel Crawford recovering. Are you kidding me?
Touchdown. You got to pick it up.
He just lets it
roll.
Let
it sit there.
And doesn't pick it up. And it's a touchdown for Colonel Crawford.
I didn't know you could advance it.
5. I didn't think you could either.
But apparently you can.
And Connor McMichael, it looked like.
But you got to at least, once it didn't go out of bounds or go into the end zone, you got to pick the ball up.
It was Connor McMichael.
It's a live ball.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. I'd say that's what I thought. It should not be a touchdown.
It's not a touchdown. You can't advance it.
It will be at the 5, though, where Connor McMichael fields it. I feel like you can't advance a punt either after they
a muff
fumble.
punt.
Yeah, a muff punt. So still 35-0, but now Colonel Crawford's set up. And
yeah,
looks like Austin Perry just kind of lost his train of thought there for a second.
Yeah, just let it roll, and then he just stood there, and apparently he thought, it's a dead ball or something. But it is not a dead ball; it's a live ball. So a short 6-yard field for the Crawford offense, and this might be the last time they're on the field if they score here. And boy, I tell you what, this is a surprise. I don't think something like this has happened for a long time here at Seneca East home field.
Yeah, 35-0, and the fans in really disbelief now. They were about to have their first possession of the second half.
As it showed on the replay, he even walked off the field, and obviously the coach was yelling at him because he looked at the coach like put his hands up in the air and started to turn a little bit to go back after the ball, but it was too late.
They'll send a couple of motion towards the right side of that line. Send Kleinert to the left of Lure. Kleinert trying to bounce it outside along the right side and then cuts it back in and bowls his way into the end zone. for a touchdown. Matt Kleinert with his second touchdown in as many plays.
That puts him over 100 yards for the game.
6-yard touchdown run by Matt Kleinert now extends that lead 41-0 currently.
What a
Braxton
surprise.
Morton in
Holy moly.
to attempt the extra point. What? Those are two kind of changing plays. You have the muff punt in the first half and the mental breakdown here in the second half on special teams. You talk about it.
Crawford is just makes plays on special teams.
So they line up in that kind of odd formation where they sit all the line.
You know, I've never understood any of this stuff. You know, either line up and kick it or line up and go for two.
Braxton Morton to attempt the extra point, brought to you by FC Bank, your friendly community bank, and he stays perfect on the evening, and there is a flag, I believe.
Let's decline it and say it's good. Oh, no, they're moving around. Maybe they didn't get set for a second. Maybe they have to kick it again. Personal foul
against Seneca East.
That should be. They roughed the kicker.
Yeah.
So that should be on the kickoff.
So Crawford gets the extra point. 42-0 Crawford on top, 8:42 to play in the third quarter. You're listening to high school football on WBCO along with watching on the OH Report.
I'm Storm Blunchley. Make sure you tune in Friday nights at 11:30 p.m. for the Friday Night Pigskin. Stats, analysis, coaches' interviews, all wrapped up into one amazing show. Make sure you tune in.
.42 left here in the third quarter. Colonel Crawford leading 42-0 on top of Seneca East.
Kicking it in the end zone,
proud. Kick it right through the end zone, and this time they
this
can
time
let it
you
go.
don't have to touch it. Now that it's
and
in
if
the
you
end
do
zone.
touch it, you definitely have to pick it back up.
Yeah,
but
yeah. It doesn't matter what you do. Once it's in the end zone in high school football, it's over.
Yeah, just two plays on special teams is really, and it could be at least a 21-0 game or something like that at this point. But I mean, 42 points basically for Colonel Crawford, and half of those I feel like are coming off of the Tigers' mistakes on special teams.
I don't think there's any doubt about it, Jared. And you know, it just shows what's. I would guess, you know, I haven't been to a Crawford practice this year, but I'm sure they're, you know, I've been at other practices and they do special teams work every day.
And they'll hand it off inside. This will be Lane Dixon working his way across the middle of the field close to the 39, or the 29, excuse me, is Lane Dixon. And they're going to say it is a 10-yard gain up to the 30 for a first down.
It's their biggest gain of the day.
They're going to hurry it up. They'll send the spread offense, 3 to the right, 2 to the left. Foose fakes the jab inside, now works his way towards the left. He's going to chuck it deep, and it's going to be caught inside the 30-yard line in the Colonel Crawford territory. It looked like it might have been short of the receiver, but he leaps up and makes the catch. And a first down. Foose hands it off again, and they'll cut it back inside. And it's Caden Fritz this time off the right edge. And second down and 10 now, as there will be no gain on the 23.
And that was, by the way, Cody Helbertshausen who made that catch. Number 88, a senior wide receiver. I just wanted to say it to show how good I am at saying names.
You love those names, don't you?
Yeah.
Foose back to pass again, looking across the middle. It's tipped up and almost caught, but it will fall incomplete. Almost hauled in by Justin Ryder. But it falls incomplete to bring up third down and 10. From the 23 again. Clock continues to run with that running clock.
That's going to be running for a while now that they're 2 scores up.
Yes.
To keep it running. Even if the Tigers can get something
and
going.
that really just deflates anybody from even trying to come back.
Thought they might try to go a little faster. They were going a little up-tempo early. Now they're slowing down a little bit.
They'll send Beamer in motion. Foose back to pass, looking that way. Throws it, corner end zone, and incomplete over the head of Beamer, Bryler Beamer, the sophomore intended receiver, and it brings up fourth down.
Yeah, they sent him in motion, and he really ran a good route. It looked like he was going to run a go route straight up the field once he turned up the field, and then he put his foot in the ground and, headed to the pylon, but just overthrown by a couple of yards. So 4th and 10, and hopefully they can get a first down here.
They set 4 wide receivers up on the left side, 1 wide to the right. Foose steps up in the pocket. Looks like he's going to run, and Foose is dragged down for a sack. And it was Jacob Moss, the 6'4 senior, in there to drag him down, and a turnover on downs for the Tigers. What started out as a promising drive, and the most promising drive for Seneca East. They pick up that long pass play. But now the turnover's on down, and 5:13 left here, third quarter, with Crawford leading 42-0.
Well, the problem is with this running clock, they may not get the ball again until the fourth quarter.
And Cam Lohr back in there offensively, along with Tanner Dyer to the right. In the gun, 2 wide receivers wide to the right. Lohr hands it off to Dyer. Dyer across the middle, up the left hash, and now keeps the legs churning for a couple of yards up to the 30-yard line. Maybe picks up 3 to bring up second down and 7.
Seemed like he was running the ball a lot, for a lot of yards, but ended up about a 3 or 4 yard gain.
Stop on that play, second down and
Dyer
7.
again stays in there, and he'll move towards the left side of Cam Lohr. They'll send Micah Thomas in motion towards the right side of the line. As the up back, Dyer heads that way, and Dyer is stuck by the interior defense of Seneca East.
It looks like they got a few new offensive linemen in.
Just gradually bring in a few at a time, right?
Yeah.
And they'll bring in Jacob Maddie here at wide receiver. Thing is, you have Carey next week. You got to continue to at least give some of your guys some playing time, right? Get ready for that game.
That's always the big question.
They'll fake the handoff. Looking right side, has a receiver, and it is caught at the 45-yard line of Seneca East.
That's a new guy, because that is a very big guy.
And it's Lucas Foy, the sophomore, making the catch on the slant route, and a nice pitch and catch right into the hands of Lucas Foy for a first down. Clock at 3:20 now, and into Tigers territory now.
Great throw.
Are the Eagles again.
Great throw by Lohr.
Had the time. The offensive line gave him that, and he throws a strike to Foy. Lohr hands it to Micah Thomas this time. Working right side. Micah Thomas cuts it back in, up over the 40-yard line, and tripped up inside the 40. They'll mark him down at the 38.
Brings up a second down and 3 for the Eagles.
So second down and 3.
But yeah, it's like you were saying, so we're looking, Crawford is going to try to keep some guys, get some work.
Flag flies on the snap. Thomas the carry over the 30-yard line, or over the 35, excuse me, and we'll see what the flag is. I would assume some kind of motion before the snap.
But yeah, we were talking, you want to keep getting your guys some work, but at the same time, and get ready for carry, but at the same time, you might as well get them out, get them rested, and they're healthy. You're getting out with all your guys healthy for a huge game next week against Cary.
Yep, and what seems to be the conference championship game here the past couple of years, and we'll see if Colonel Crawford looks for revenge from that loss last year, their lone loss in the regular season. So 2nd down and 8 for the Eagles, 1:35 to play, third quarter. Lure in the shotgun. They'll do the inside handoff to Thomas. He turns it upfield and bowls through the defenders across the 35. He's close to a first down, is Micah Thomas. And they are going to say he got it. He just ran right through that defense.
Well, they ran that little inside handoff. They like running the reverse when they're in the wing T look. And Thomas did a great job of moving the pile a little bit, getting the first down, 8-yard gain. And the other thing, because of they came out for the first time this week, the other thing next week will do is it's a lot of computer points. And the computer rankings came out last week for the first time. And, even though, they doubled the number of teams that get in, 16 get in.
Yeah.
But you also, if you can get in that top 3 or 4, you get some home games.
Again, it looks like Dyer this time on the carry. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. And it's 2nd and 10, and what could be the last play here of the third quarter. With 25 seconds on the clock.
They're not going
to run a play. They're going to the sideline. That's going to take us to the end of the third quarter where Colonel Crawford comes out, scores on their first drive, gets possession after a failed kick return, and takes the lead into the fourth. It's Colonel Crawford 42, Seneca East nothing. You're listening to high school football here on WBCO along with watching on the OH Report.
What's up, America? Brian Skoronski here, and if you want to see me and the gang chop it up with some unintelligent conversation, we've got the show for you. Check out the OH Report video podcast every Monday, exclusively right here on the OH Report.
Back here from Seneca East as the Tigers trail Colonel Crawford 42-0. Start of the fourth quarter, start of the running clock, and they'll run it straight up the middle and stuff.
They got a new quarterback in. I can't see the number. Can you see the? He's over there getting a play from Coach Bruner. I think it's a single digit.
And Swift for the stop.
Him.
That is a no game of the play. Right at the line of scrimmage. Brings up
I guess we'll find out here in a second.
from the 35.
There's a whole, probably a boatload of new faces in
Yeah,
there
it looks
for Colonel
like
Crawford.
Looks like the second group is totally in now. Is that number 4?
Number 9.
9.
Peyton Baker, I believe. Or, yeah. They'll run it left side.
Looks like maybe
down the sideline and shoved out of bounds. And it was 21. Connor McMichael on the carry. And he may have picked up a first down.
Yes, he did. Ran the sweep, got outside. Looked like he had pretty good speed.
Mohawk leading Winford 12-8.
They're going to beat us home.
Huh?
So it's the fourth quarter there, too. So I think they'll beat us home. We got a long drive.
On the other, over on WQEL.
Yeah.
That's it. We got the longer drive. They'll run it off the left side this time, and still
pushing that pile
forward,
pretty good.
Turning the legs.
There's a battle at the line.
The lineman just kind of pushed him forward.
5 on the play. Second down.
I think that was McMichael
5.
again.
I think it was McMichael. It'll be second down and 5. Baker goes under center. McMichael and another running back as well behind him. They'll cut it upfield back inside and maybe back to the line of scrimmage. There'll be no gain, and it looked like it was Tyler Smith on the carry for Crawford. They bring up third down and 5 as the clock ticks down to 9 minutes and 10 seconds.
Or maybe running that sweep again.
Send one player in motion from the right side to the left.
They may have jumped. Nope.
Baker feeds it left side on the outside, and they're not going to pick up the first down. And
you fumble it or something?
They did. They fumble it. Seneca East is going to recover.
Recovered by the Tigers. Seneca East will take over first down and 20.
Yeah, fumbled it as it was falling down and recovered by the Tigers.
I didn't see the fumble. I saw the beanbag come flying in, though.
So 8:33 left here in the game. Crawford leading 42-0. When we talk about getting ready for next week and against the defending state champions, defending N10 champions, Cary Blue Devils. And I would assume they're going to get out of here without any injuries to some major players. So
yeah, it looks like this is pretty much turned into a JV game now.
they'll carry it up inside for a 5-yard pickup. Yep, Nicholas Parks in there, quarterback, the freshman, 5'8", 135 pounds, seeing his first action. Lane Dixon on the carry, and he picks up 5. Second and 5 from their own 26. And for Seneca East, I mean, it was obviously a rough game, self-inflicted wounds as well, but they haven't gotten any offense going except for here in the second half, but really in mop-up duty. Parks is going to throw it deep, and it is caught by Corbin Beamer. Corbin Beamer down inside the Colonel Crawford territory to the 40-yard line. Nicholas Parks just throws it up for grabs. Beamer comes down with it in the first down for the Tigers.
Yeah, good catch in traffic.
So they'll hand it to Dixon. Dixon cut down at the 40. Defensively, it was Lane Reich in there on the tackle. To bring up 3rd and 9 with 6:45 to play in the game. Colonel Crawford leading 42-0. In the gun once again is Parks. Low snap, fumbles it for a second, throws it out wide, making the catch and then hit immediately along the right side is that Seneca East receiver, making the tackle look like Lucas Foy. And making the catch was Caden Fritz. And he turned it up and immediately was hit after making the catch by Lucas Foy. So a nice job defensively there, coming off of his block and making that tackle. They'll throw it out wide again. This time it'll be caught by Bryler Beamer. Beamer turns it inside to the 35 after making the catch to bring up 4th down, but a pickup of a few yards there for Bryler Beamer. 4th down and 5 for the Tigers with 5 minutes and 40 seconds to play.
Yeah, that clock just kills you. You look up there, it's constantly running, and you just got to get in a hurry.
Parks to throw, and it's incomplete. On 4th down and a turnover on downs.
Tell you one thing, Parks got a good arm for a freshman.
It is.
Good quick release.
Is there a way where you think they could get him more involved and
Probably
put
not.
Foose somewhere else? I mean, you put the ball in Foose's hands every time. Could you split him out to running back?
You know, yeah.
I mean, but he is a freshman, obviously,
he's a freshman,
so there's not.
And to be honest, he looks like a freshman. He's not very big. I don't know what he's listed in the program, but he's not a very big young man.
5'8", 135.
There you go. Yeah. So, yeah.
So never mind.
So, yeah, never mind. You know, it's all right to put a freshman out there when they don't look like a freshman. But yeah, when they size-wise they look like a freshman should look, it's kind of tough. But it looks like he's got a good future.
Crawford brings Peyton Baker back in at quarterback. And again, they'll be stuffed on the run. But, I mean, I guess the only thing this is really doing is just hurting Crawford's offensive stats. But the clock continues to run now under 5 minutes to go. And Davy Jones, do not forget to call him after your game tonight to the Friday night phone board, 419-562-2222, or toll free at 1-888-843-0024. Davy will be looking for all the scores from around the area for tonight's game, so give him a call after yours tonight over on WQEL and the Friday night phone board. Crawford gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard over on the carry. It'll be 3rd and 9 now for Colonel Crawford.
I believe that's number 25 that might be carrying the ball. I'm not sure. 25 is either a wide receiver or
he is a running back. It's a freshman Brady Fox.
Okay. I think that's who carried the ball the last time.
These don't always help. Ooh, half-price sandwich.
Half-price sandwich, guys. $4 steak sandwich. Might get one to go.
Tim's hungry back.
That brought me back up.
I'd say you were just down in the dumps.
Yeah.
After not getting your steak sandwich.
I was so hoping for such a much better game. And just got really surprised by this thing. But I don't know. Maybe that steak sandwich to go could change my mood.
Timeout on the field. We're going to go ahead and take one as well. 3:49 left in the game. We'll be right back.
I'm Garrett G-Man Parlett, and check out my new show, The G-Man Project, exclusively on the OH Report.
Hi, I'm Josh with Scout Construction, proud sponsor of local teams and athletes. Check out your favorite local sports right here on the OH Report.
Along with the OH Report, Colonel Crawford set to punt, which is not their first punt tonight, believe it or not.
Why is the clock stop? There it goes. Just get a little worried. The clock is not right.
3:10 on the clock. As Colonel Crawford to punt it away. They're going to call for a fair catch, and making the catch is Nicholas Parks. Backup quarterback along with backup punt returner as well, makes the fair catch. And what might be the last drive of the game.
I would imagine, unless they really get something going here and score quick, or they suddenly pick up the pace and start trying to get a bunch of plays in. But otherwise, Yeah, as soon as this clock starts, with 2:52, I don't imagine we'll see an exchange.
It starts now.
And now he called timeout. He's trying to. This is tough. Coach Phillips has to call timeout because he's trying to get these guys lined up right and make sure everybody's gotten in the game and things like that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take another timeout. 2:41 left here in the game. Crawford leading 42-0. You're listening to high school football on WBCO along with watching on the OH Report.
I'm Garrett G-Man Parlett, and check out my new show, The G-Man Project, exclusively on the OH Report.
Hi, I'm Josh with Scout Construction, proud sponsor of local teams and athletes. Check out your favorite local sports right here on the OH Report.
Instead of paying for some big-name spokesperson, Kasasa Checking gives that money back to you in cash rewards. In fact, you just bought me this cup of coffee. See how that works? Amazing! Free checking, cash rewards. Take back banking with Kasasa.
He's going to send a line drive down the field. It'll be fielded on the bounce.
Parks throws it across the middle. It's tipped up incomplete, almost picked off, but almost caught as well. The intended receiver was Derek Cornwell for the Tigers, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, ran a little streak, go route, had him running down the seam, and yeah, it was one of those 50-50 balls, but it ended up on the ground.
So 3rd and 13 with 1:45 to play. Parks is going to line up in the gun with trips to the right. Lone running back next to him. He goes back to pass. Now steps up in the pocket. Eludes the pressure. Along the left side. And he's close to the 35, but not close to a first down. And it brings up 4th down. So we'll see. I mean, you got 1:20, so you might as well just go ahead and go for it. Nothing to lose by doing that.
No, not at all.
Crawford will probably just take a knee on their last play anyway.
Exactly. So. Trying to get lined up here. Now we're ready to go.
With 1 minute to play. Back to pass. Parks throws it. Caught. First down and a little bit more by Aiden Zach. The sophomore picks up the first down to the 45. So 40 seconds to go now. Parks in the gun.
Oh, first down.
Back to pass. Steps up again in the pocket and is hit and dropped. Back at the 44-yard line. Seneca East going to try to get one more play before the clock runs out with under 20 seconds now to go. 42-0. Crawford on top. One more play here.
Going to throw it. He's empty.
They're on 2nd and 11 from their own 44-yard line.
They're in a legal formation for one thing.
The flags fly. They're going to chuck it deep regardless. And it falls incomplete.
And that's the ball game.
And that will be the ball game. 42-0 your final. Crawford moves to 5-0. Seneca East drops to 3-2. 42-0 Colonel Crawford over Seneca East. We'll come back and wrap this one up here on WBCO and the OH Report.
I'm Garrett G-Man Parlett, and check out my new show, The G-Man Project, exclusively on the OH Report.
Hi, I'm Josh with Scout Construction, proud sponsor of local teams and athletes. Check out your favorite local sports right here on the OH Report.
Instead of paying for some big-name spokesperson, Kasasa Checking gives that money back to you in cash rewards. In fact, you just bought me this cup of coffee. See how that works? Amazing! Free checking, cash rewards. Take back banking with Kasasa.
He's going to send a line drive down the field. It'll be fielded on the bounce. That is Schieffer. Schieffer finds a hole at the center. Schieffer turns on the burners. Schieffer could go. He's at the 50, 45. He's got one man to beat. Schieffer with the ball in his left hand. He's going to take it to the house. Whitford opens up the second half with the kick return touchdown.
Take a look at all the action from Friday Night Football right here in North Central Ohio with great analysis, highlights, coach interviews, and so much more every single Friday night right here on the OH Report.
Hello, everyone. Just wanted to let you know that coming up in just a few moments, we'll have Colonel Crawford's player of the game up here joining me in the press box for an interview. So keep it locked in for just a few more minutes. That's coming your way on the other side of this break.
I'm Garrett G-Man Parlett, and check out my new show, The G-Man Project, exclusively on the OH Report.
Hi, I'm Josh with Scout Construction, proud sponsor of local teams and athletes. Check out your favorite local sports right here on the OH Report.
Instead of paying for some big-name spokesperson, Casasa Checking gives that money back to you in cash rewards. In fact, you just bought me this cup of coffee. See how that works? Amazing! Free checking, cash rewards. Take back banking with Casasa.
He's going to send a line drive down the field. It'll be fielded on the bounce. That is Schieffer. Schieffer finds a hole at the center. Schieffer turns on the burners. Schieffer could go. He's at the 50, 45. He's got one man to beat. Schieffer with the ball in his left hand. He's going to take it to the house. Whitford opens up the second half with a kick return touchdown.
Take a look at all the action from Friday Night Football right here in North Central Ohio with great analysis, highlights, coach interviews, and so much more every single Friday night right here on the OH Report.
Joined now by our OH Report Player of the Game, powered by Smitty's Pizza Company. And tonight I am joined by Colonel Crawford's Trevor Vogt. Trevor, phenomenal matchup tonight. Another opponent that you guys shut out, come out here, put up impressive offensive numbers. 2 receiving touchdowns for you this evening, a 32-yard reception and 21. Just kind of walk me through your role on this team as a wide receiver and what you guys have been able to get accomplished offensively this season.
Well, obviously we just ground and pound. Push the ball up the field, and when they're not expecting it, run some play action, hit the deep ball, hit some big plays. I kind of just do what my team needs me to do.
I talked to your teammate Matt Clenard after the win against East Knox, and he talked about how this team is one of the most physical ones he's played on. Do you kind of echo that same statement that he made? What kind of physicality do you feel that you provide and your team provides every Friday night, home or away?
Yeah, I agree completely. This team is just so physical. Nobody on the team is scared to hit. All 11 guys that take the field at all times are ready to hit it. Everybody's just physical as can be.
Obviously a big time N10 matchup next week against the defending state champion Cary, but it's a different Cary team. They do not return everyone from that team. What are you guys looking forward to in that matchup, and what are you looking to prove against Cary, who still gets to at least carry that title with them? But what kind of chip do you have on your shoulder going up against them this Friday?
You know, we go into the game, we're not doing anything different. We just, same thing every week. We focus on the task at hand. We don't change what we do, same routine. We just know that they're going to be a good team and we have to play good. We just do the same thing, just game in and game out, next game up.
All right, well, we wish you the best of luck next week against Cary. Again, Colonel Crawford's Trevor Vogt, 2 touchdowns tonight in Colonel Crawford's 42-0 victory over Seneca East. Thank you for joining me, Trevor, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get things wrapped up from Seneca East, just on the other side of the break. Thanks for keeping it with us here. We'll see you in just a few seconds.
I'm Garrett G-Man Parlett, and check out my new show, The G-Man Project, exclusively on the OH Report.
Hi, I'm Josh with Scout Construction, proud sponsor of local teams and athletes. Check out your favorite local sports right here on the OH Report.
Thank you for tuning in here with us this evening. Again, your final score one more time. Colonel Crawford 42, Seneca East 0. Colonel Crawford improves to 5-0 on the year. Seneca East does fall to 3-2. Want to take a quick second to thank all of our sponsors who are part of the live stream this evening. Sutton Bank, earn the cash reward of your choice for doing simple activities with Kasasa. First Federal Community Bank, banking locally just got a little easier. Smitty's Pizza Company, call 419-912-0060. Get some of that local fresh pizza. Attica Lumber, Scout Construction. With more than a decade of business, you can trust Scout Construction with your roofing and siding needs. Call Scout Construction for more information, 419-989-7240. Baker's Pizza, and, of course, you, the fans, for tuning in. That's going to wrap things up from here. I want to thank all of the staff around me, Jared Moore and Tim Birie of WBCO on the call, Storm Blunchley, my camera operator tonight, Adam Thompson, for all the incredible audio and video design he's done to our software. Want to give a special thanks to the Seneca East Athletic Department for allowing us to be here tonight. And, of course, as I mentioned earlier, I want to thank you, the fans, for all of the support. For Jared Moore, Tim Birie, Storm Blunchley, I am Hayden Gray, director and producer of tonight's broadcast, saying so long. And thank you for watching live and free high school football on the OH Report, powered by BS Media Productions.